Hi there, career and leadership coach Erin Thomas here. I am on a mission to help motivated professionals up-level their careers and find career satisfaction, purpose, and success just by being themselves. I am so excited to be here with you today, and I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are ready for a career pivot, clarity and guidance on your next steps, and strategic support so you can land your next job with ease. Today, I'm going to share with you how to make a career shift after 40. This may be a complete 180 into a new industry and job function, a new job in the same industry, or a slight adjustment in your current job for better results. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is this so hard? Well, it doesn't have to be. We've just been taught to go about it in ineffective ways. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to teach you exactly how to determine which career path will amplify and leverage your unique experience and talents, and how to find and land that opportunity in the least amount of time. So go get a cup of coffee and settle in. Let's make sure you are in the right room. If you answer yes to any of the following statements, stick with me. You're going to want to stay until the end. You are aged 40 plus and ready to make a career change, but unsure where to begin. You are ready to take a leap and do things differently in your career for different results. You are ready to feel good at work and love what you do. And you are ready for a job that gives you purpose, satisfaction, and success. Today, in this training, I'm going to teach you how to use my 5-step CLEAR method. Specifically, you will learn how to clarify your superpowers and identify what conditions will leverage your unique skills, strengths, values, and motivations so you feel satisfied, purposeful, and successful in your next job. How to leverage your unique brand and value proposition so you can tell the world who you are in the most compelling way. How to eliminate the barriers that are holding you back to create more effectiveness, ease, and joy in your career change process, and to improve your confidence overall. And how to refresh your toolkit so your materials, such as your resume, CV, LinkedIn, are polished and looking good, so that your interviewing skills are practiced and you feel prepared, and you are networking like a pro. And finally, so that your job search plan is strategic, systematic, and organized so you know exactly where you are in the process at all times and you can evaluate your efforts along the way. And ultimately, you are getting results in the quickest amount of time. Listen to each of these statements and take note if any of them sound like you. And go ahead and put a yes in the chat box if any of these resonate. You come home from work every day grumpy, stressed, and fatigued because really, when you're honest with yourself, you hate your job. You are confused and unsure about what your next steps should be and really have no idea where to begin. You are unclear about what you are best at and what would even make you happy and satisfied in your career. You feel like you're too old to make a career pivot, and the voice inside of your head is saying, it's too late for you, you're too old, no one will hire you. You have no idea how to talk about your brand, and in fact, you might be asking yourself right now, wait, I'm supposed to have a brand? And you feel a crisis of confidence. Your confidence is shot, and your self-esteem is down the tubes. I have good news for you, though. None of these things are the real problem. I know they feel real, and I have experienced all of them, so I know how painful they are, but they're not actually the real problem. They are side effects of the actual problem. The real problem is that you haven't made these 5 essential shifts that I'm going to show you today by using my CLEAR method. By making these 5 essential shifts through my CLEAR method, you will feel energized, present, and satisfied with your job, and you'll be inspired and enthused about the future. You'll feel empowered and excited for the next half of your career, and you'll start thinking about this next stage of your career as a natural progression or an evolution rather than starting over. You will feel confident and clear about what you are best at and how to leverage this, and in doing so, feel a sense of control. You are in the driver's seat of your career. And finally, you'll be proud of exactly where you are and where you're going. So, more on this 5-step process here in a few minutes, but first, let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. As I said earlier, I am on a mission to help motivated professionals up-level their careers and find career satisfaction, purpose, and success just by being themselves. I never in a million years imagined I would be an entrepreneur and career and leadership coach. I was a traditionalist for the first half of my career, and I very much over-identified with my roles as an HR executive and program director in the social impact field. And for a period of time, it was good, real good. I felt challenged, mission and values driven, and like I was building the types of skills I wanted. I reached a point, however, where I started wondering if there was something more, different, better, something that would give me more purpose, excitement, and engagement. I started feeling pretty bored and disinterested in what I once was very interested in. I wasn't motivated like I once was, and I was getting consistent headaches, coming home from work fatigued, emotional, and frustrated fairly regularly. I decided it was time to make a change, but at the time wasn't sure how to go about it. So I took my time and essentially came up with the 5-step clear method I'm going to teach you today, which led me to becoming a career and leadership coach and building a business. And I can tell you, it has been thus far one of the best decisions I've ever made. I now work half of the time I once did, giving me more space and time for other things in life to balance out my career. I make the amount of money that I want, and I feel purposeful, excited, interested, challenged, and engaged in what I'm doing, and excited about the future. Since then, I have worked with hundreds of people from all over the globe, including executives, mid-level managers, emerging leaders, encore professionals, entrepreneurs, creatives, you name it, helping them refocus their careers and reach success. I am an accredited professional coach through the International Coaching Federation. I hold a master's degree in public policy, and I love, love, love learning, especially about human behavior and neuroscience. In my downtime, you'll find me reading books on human behavior and psychology, hiking beautiful trails with friends, traveling the globe with my family, and enjoying our small community in Northern California with my young son Ellis and my husband Darren. Now that you know a little bit more about me, let's dig into the nitty-gritty. Are you all still with me? Okay, let's dive in. Essentially, you are using an old map to get to a new destination. I want you to think about this for a second. Think about getting into your car, really excited about where you're going. You're going to someplace new, someplace fantastic, fabulous, someplace that every part of you is really excited to go to, and maybe a little bit scared also. And you pull out your map and you realize, wait a second, this map is taking you the complete opposite direction, and actually to a location that you have been before and you don't like. So that's what's happening here. You're using an old map to get to a new destination. So let's just review the old map really quick. So this old map is telling you to not have a strategy, to just randomly apply to jobs based on what you seem qualified for or based on, what you've done in the past. You don't have any goals or metrics set out for yourself. You aren't tracking jobs and response rates, and you're spending all your time on job boards and spinning your wheels. You don't know what your superpowers are, so you have no idea what your superpowers are. You don't know what you're best at, and you're not confident about what you have to offer. And you might even say to yourself, I don't have any transferable skills. I can't do anything different than what I've always done. P.S. I hear that from my clients all the time. 3, you're unclear or you don't have a brand. Not uncommon for people not to have a brand, and it doesn't serve you. So because you don't have a brand, you're not networking, you're not telling people exactly who you are and what you want, because ultimately you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want. You're sending generic resumes to recruiters and you're wondering why you never get callbacks. You're leaving interviews deflated and feeling like a failure, and you're having, consistent kind of deer in headlight moments when an interviewer asks you why this job, or tell me a little bit more about yourself and your career, or other questions that you don't feel prepared for. You, as I mentioned earlier, you aren't networking, or if you are networking, you're doing it in unproductive ways. And finally, you're super self-critical. You're constantly bad-mouthing yourself. You feel embarrassed around how hard this is. You tell yourself this should be easier. You should be further down the path. You should know how to do this. And you're just kind of muscling through it and not focusing on your mindset, on a productive mindset. So this is the old map. This is the map we literally want to burn. We want to rip it up, throw it away, so we never go back to this destination. Now let's talk about the new map, the new way. So we know that we've been using an old map to get to a new destination, and it's not getting us to the destination we want. We have burnt that map, we have ripped it up, it is no longer there. What is there is this new map to the new destination. So this is the CLEAR method, high-level overview, and then we will get into bit by bit each one of these steps so that you can really move through this process throughout this training. Number one, clarify and focus on what you do best. This is your unique blend of skills, strengths, values, lived experience, etc. And we want to amplify that in your next job or position or company. This will also allow you to know what types of jobs and in which industries will satisfy you the most. And this builds your confidence because now you're starting to see, oh, wow, look, I do have all these really cool and unique gifts that others don't have. Number two, leverage your authentic brand. This is where you build a brand and you amplify it through your job applications, your network, through your interviews, and you use this brand to also vet potential job opportunities against. Again, it needs to align with your brand, just like it needs to align with what you now understand as what conditions need to be present in order for you to be in your esteem, in your sort of superpowers. Number three, eliminate your head trash. This is where you're upgrading your operating system. So this is where you're interrupting the negative self-talk and you're replacing it with more productive and accurate narratives to better support this new destination you're going. This is where you master your mindset and you know exactly what you need to do or what is required to actually feel more ease and joy throughout the process, but also in your career in general. Accelerate your career vision and prototype careers that align with your brand. This is where you conduct research with various opportunities and evaluate. What do you now know about them? What do you need to know about them to understand if this career path is right for you? This is where you're learning about all types of different careers that interest you, and you now have the tools to determine if you would be a good fit. And finally, refresh your toolkit. This is where you're polishing your resume or CV, your LinkedIn profile, you're practicing your interview skills, you're networking like a pro, all of which is getting you results. You have a strategic plan that outlines exactly what you need to be doing in any given time, and you know at all times where you are in the plan currently. You have goals for yourself to keep you on track. You know where and how to look for jobs, and you have tracking tools to evaluate the jobs and the results that you're getting to course correct if need be. Let's dig into the CLEAR method step by step. go grab a pen and paper because you're going to want this. At the end of each step, there is going to be an exercise for you so you can move through exactly what this process entails by the end of this training. So go ahead and press pause, go grab your pen and paper, and then come back and join us. Step 1, clarify and focus on what you do best. There are about 7.6 billion people in the world, and no one, not even one, is exactly like you. You're the only one with your unique blend of lived experience, values, strengths, motivations, skills, and interests. That's pretty wild if you think about it. That's a lot of people, and you are the only one. So let's take that really unique value proposition and match it with the right job. But in order to do so, we need to be super focused on what exactly your gifts are, and then we need to do some sense making around them. Without a clear understanding of who you are and what you do best, you're unable to know exactly what characteristics in a job function and work environment will leverage you. You, at that point, really don't have any power. You're sort of operating blindly. Lacking this core understanding of your identity also often leads to a lack of confidence and a little bit of disorientation about where you are and where you're going in your career. When you have such clarity, you know exactly what your unique value proposition is, which allows you to know exactly what conditions you need to be present in a job and a company so that you can be successful. You are also likely to gain confidence, self-esteem, and a sense of control over your career. So go ahead and get your pen and paper, and I want you to answer the question, what do you do best? And to do this, you can make 4 columns on your piece of paper. And in each column, I want you to title it Core Strengths. So that's one column. The second column, you can title it Core Values. The third column, you can title it How You're Motivated or Motivations, or in other words, how you like to behave. And in the fourth column, you can list out all of your learned skills or your top learned skills and interests. So go ahead and press pause and get busy. And once you're done, you can join us. You can come back and join us. Step number 2, leverage your authentic brand. Now that you know exactly what you are best at, build a brand out of this. When you don't know your brand and how to articulate it, it is nearly impossible to communicate who you are and why or how your brand is exactly what insert desired company job role is looking for. Think about Nike. If Nike didn't know its brand well, it would have no idea how to communicate to you that it is the preferred athletic shoe of the NBA, that it is a solid shoe with a good shelf life, and that it has some major style cred. You know this only because Nike knows this, and they have been telling you this through their brand over and over and over again. Bottom line, if you don't tell people who you are, they won't know. When you have a clear brand that you articulate through your resume, LinkedIn, through your networking and interviews, it is clear who you are and what you are well positioned to do. Having an authentic brand also allows you to share yourself and your value proposition without going into sales mode. Rather, you are just authentically sharing who you are and asking whomever you're talking to do the same so you can both determine if this is a good fit or if there is an opportunity here. Having a powerful brand also positions you as an authority in your chosen field and over time becomes recognized by others. So go get your pen and paper again and start drafting your brand. And you can follow this very basic formula. List out just in 2 to 3 sentences what you have been doing in your career thus far. So this is your list of experience and top skills. And the prompt here is, I have more than X amount of years of experience doing ... Number 2, what are you best at? These are your strengths. So what are you really good at? So this should be 3 to 5 bullets. And your prompt here can be, my core strengths include ... Number 3, when are you at your best? These are your motivations. So 1 or 2 sentences here. And your prompt is, I am someone who will ... Essentially behave in the following ways. And then number 4, what matters to you most? These are your values. So the prompt here can be, I am looking for a company and a team that are aligned with my values of ... So press pause, get busy, get pen to paper, and start drafting your authentic brand now. Step number 3, eliminate your head trash. We all have it, head trash that is. These are the old and unproductive beliefs that are driving our behaviors and decisions. Think of it as your operating system, which for most of us is fairly outdated. This operating system, which is our mindset, needs to be updated just like an iPhone operating system needs to be updated to fix bugs and install newer technology to support new apps and programs. It's the same for our brains. When we don't upgrade the system, or in other words, practice disciplined mindset health, we often don't reach our big goals because our neural pathways literally don't support them. This is where we sort of maintain some of these old and tired narratives around our identity, our worth, our abilities, and our realities. So the old operating system is the one that's saying you're too old for a career change. No one's going to hire you. Ageism is everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I don't have any transferable skills. It's too late for me. So these are literally the beliefs of the old operating system that we need to update. They keep us small, they hold us back. They're, your inner saboteurs trying to protect you, but all the while wreaking havoc on you and keeping you from getting what you want. So you can have the clearest vision ever of where you want to go, but if you have this operating system that is literally not supporting your behaviors and actions to get there, you're working against yourself. When you update the operating system, or in other words, when you eliminate the head trash and replace with productive beliefs, you're changing your neurochemistry and therefore the belief system to support your new goals and aspirations. This then allows you to create the narrative you want about your identity, your worth, your abilities, and your reality, which leads you to the behaviors and actions needed to reach your aspirations, to reach your new destination. It also makes the process of, quite honestly, any challenge, and especially a career change, just more easeful and joyful. So go and grab your pen and paper, and I want you to list out your head trash. I want you just to write it out. There's something really powerful about just getting some of these underserving beliefs out of your head and onto paper. So for example, one piece of your head trash might be, again, I will never find a job that satisfies me, or there's no way I could be happy and satisfied in a job just by being myself, or I'll never make more than X amount of money, or I am not skilled enough to do ... or, the list goes on and on. I'm too old, or no one will hire me. So really get honest with yourself, press pause, and just start listing out some of your head trash. Step number 4, accelerate your career vision and prototype careers that leverage your brand. This is the matchmaking process and can get pretty fun and creative. So in review, when you don't know what you're looking for in a job, you'll often just resort to doing what you've done in the past. And this is how people end up in careers for 15, 20, 25, 30 years that honestly they hate. They just keep doing the same thing over and over because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to look for. But now that you have a clear understanding of what I call your career North Star, or in other words, and more tactically, what conditions you need present in a job and an environment to be most satisfied and purposeful, you can easily align these characteristics with the conditions of a potential job opportunity or a potential vision. So again, this is the matchmaking phase, which can be kind of fun and creative. And it can point to a career path that you never in a million years dreamed yourself in. but all the while is piquing your interest. Once you've identified functions and companies that indeed align with your vision, you do some low-risk prototyping to get more of a sense of what the career entails. This could be through informational interviews, through talking to people who work there, talking to friends or family who are in positions or in jobs that interest you, etc. This could be your dream job from when you were a child that you always wrote off as not being feasible. Now's the time to get creative and start to vision what could it look like? What could it feel like? And again, what do you need to know to determine if that could be a feasible job for you? So get pen and paper, and I want you to start listing out all the various career fields that have interested you in the past and that currently interest you. This is a time to get super creative. So don't judge or evaluate for actual feasibility yet. That comes later once you have all of your data. So, just like some of our top innovators, the way they innovate is they allow for brainstorming, for real non-judgmental brainstorming, and they're not evaluating for feasibility until the feasibility study part of the phase phase begins. So again, list out all the career fields that potentially interest you, and then ask yourself the question, what else do I need to know to determine if this career field aligns with your brand and your sort of the conditions you now know need to be present. And again, be objective so that you can get really creative. Step number 5, and our final step, refresh your toolkit. When you're using old and kind of dusty materials like resume, LinkedIn, generic cover letter, you often get overlooked. People they don't understand who you are. They don't understand why you're applying, or maybe they're judging your materials and thinking, this person isn't really that committed. And also, when you don't have any real metrics to evaluate your success, you can feel really haphazard, and you feel a lack of control and sort of a lack of really perspective on how you are doing. We do have indicators in the marketplace that can tell us actually if you're doing quite well with your job search, or if you're not doing that well, and therefore we need to focus in on one point in the process to improve your results. When you have a polished resume and LinkedIn that highlights your brand, people know exactly who you are and why you're applying to certain things, or what you want when you're networking. When you're actively using your network, you're maximizing this super powerful network that you either have currently or that you can build. You're able to have conversations with people that you aspire to be like, or just that are in your chosen career field, or that have been there, done that with what you're thinking to get insight around. And when you have a clear and systematic strategy that outlines all the jobs that you've applied to and your response rate, you can easily see patterns emerging from this tracking and make pivots really specifically as need be. So you, at that point, are really utilizing your time in a highly strategic way. Now that I've shown you what the CLEAR method is and exactly how to use it, I want to share 3 stories from real clients to show you what happens when you use the CLEAR method. Meet Kimberly. I met Kimberly back in 2017 when she reached out for support. At the time, Kimberly was working in the tech industry in Seattle. She'd been leading product development and management for a very large online retailer there in Seattle. On paper, she was successful. She had a great income, a history of upward mobility, and prestige and credibility in her company. In real life, however, she was absolutely miserable. She hated what she did and felt like a different person when she was at work. She literally would describe to me that every morning before going into work, she felt like she'd put on a mask that hid her authentic self and presented her in a way that she hated. She was withering inside. She felt depressed, anxious, disillusioned, you name it. She was so disoriented, didn't know what was important to her, and she was confused. So Kimberly was finally ready for a change. We started working together. Kimberly went through the CLEAR method. And during this process, she actually realized that in many ways, she was well suited for her job. And in fact, her day-to-day tasks did actually leverage her unique strengths and gifts, which is why she stayed in the job so long. However, what she realized was that there was some serious values misalignment. Her values were way out of sync with the values of the company and the values of the job that she was doing. She couldn't bear it anymore. This allowed us to precisely pinpoint exactly where in Kimberly's career was the issue, was the problem, so that we could fix that. Fast forward to today, Kimberly is working with another large tech company. However, she's now working in their corporate social responsibility and environmental and sustainability governance department. And she loves it. She feels it is better aligned with her core values, and it is still leveraging her strengths, skills, talents, motivations, etc. She loves her job. She feels energized at work. She still gets paid very well. She's still experiencing upward mobility and prestige and credibility at work. She's confident about where she is and where she'll go in the future. Yay, Kimberly. Next, meet Graciela. Graciela worked in the social services for 25 years as a social worker there in the Bay Area. She was passionate about her job and always felt called to helping others. The job was very much aligned with her core values. After 25 years, though, she was burnt out, to say the least. She held a very strong identity as a social worker, so when thinking about what else she could do, she was paralyzed, since she thought her identity as a social worker was at her core. She realized, however, that this wasn't true, and actually it was her head trash or limiting beliefs that were driving her behaviors and decisions, and that ultimately were driving this belief that all she was a social worker. So we began working together, and she moved through the CLEAR process or the CLEAR method. And we began focusing on eliminating this head trash or these limiting beliefs. And in doing so, she realized that indeed helping the most vulnerable is a part of her value system, which is core to who she is. But it doesn't mean that she had to be a social worker to do that. And it isn't her only identity. It wasn't her only value. Creativity was another big value of hers. And she realized she's motivated by change and creation and building things. And she is highly motivated by fun and joy and levity. And these were things that she was not getting as a social worker. They were very much under-resourced. She then realized that she could still help people, though in other ways. So fast forward to present day, she's now self-employed as an entrepreneur doing design work for companies and nonprofits. So she's really using that creativity value and so many of her other major strengths and skill sets to be really leveraged in this new job. And in her spare time, she volunteers as a board member with multiple social service NGOs, and she's still very involved in her community. Graciela is super energized. She's having a ton of fun in her new career, and she never in a million years imagined herself as an entrepreneur and a freelance designer working with for-profits and nonprofits in this capacity. I'm so proud of Graciela. And lastly, meet Charlene. Charlene was a teacher for 35 years in upstate New York. She liked teaching, but never really loved it. She always felt like there was something maybe different she could be doing that would be more fun, make her feel more energetic and alive. But she kept on with teaching since it was stable and secure. Every few years that passed, she'd give it a thought, but then feel like she was too far in and didn't ever want to really start over. She didn't want to feel like she had wasted any time. Fast forward to 2020, the pandemic hits. Charlene decides it's time to retire from teaching. She didn't want to fully retire, though. She still wanted to have a sunset career, allowing her to work part-time and make some income. She just started randomly applying to jobs in the retail industry, thinking that was the only thing she could do after teaching for 35 years. She had this belief that she didn't have any transferable skills, that no one would hire her because of her age, etc. She didn't strategize about what jobs could actually translate really well into a part-time gig. She just moved into applying and was really applying to all the wrong jobs. She decided to get some support. We began working together, and Charlene went through the CLEAR method. She considered all of her core strengths, motivations, and values, her tremendous 35 years of experience and skills. We then built her a brand and started engaging in visioning and prototyping different careers that aligned with her gifts and that aligned with her brand. And in doing so, she really kept coming back to facilitation. The act of facilitating people, meetings, learning opportunities, etc., was just something she found a ton of joy in. So she built a network or expanded her network and started applying to facilitation type jobs. Fast forward to present day, Charlene is now working with a small consulting business as their virtual facilitator, leading meetings and trainings for their clients. She's alive, she's enjoying her work, she works part-time and is able to focus on other things in her life along with her career. We've come to the end of the training. You have made it. Congrats. So just to review, here's what we've covered. We've covered how to know which career will leverage your unique skills, talents, and contributions so you feel satisfied, purposeful, and successful, how to build your brand and leverage it in your job search, and how to apply to the right jobs that will land you interviews and offers. Why eliminating your head trash is essential and, in fact, will accelerate your career. How to align your brand with potential career paths and test and evaluate these different paths. How to create more ease, control, and joy throughout the process. And ultimately, how to increase your confidence in your career and this process. So you're at a crossroads here. You have two options. You can keep doing what you've been doing and get the same results. You basically keep using that old map that will keep getting you to this old destination. Or start using this new map to get you to the exact destination you are wanting to go. Through using my 5-step CLEAR method. And in doing so, take it from Charlene, from Graciela, and from Kimberly, you will achieve the results you desire. You have made it to the end of this training. Thank you so much for sticking with me. It has been an absolute pleasure. If you're interested in learning more, I would love to support you in your goals. You can go ahead and book a free strategy session where we will get on the phone and talk about your career thus far, what your goals are, where you're getting stuck, and we'll create a custom roadmap map for you so that you know exactly what you need to do to reach your new destination. You can also visit my website and check out my services and programs. And of course, you can follow me on social. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I would love to be in touch that way. So let's keep the conversation going. I wish you all the best in your next steps. I know you are going to get exactly where you want to. And thanks again for joining my training. Take care, everyone.